All right, this one is about Atwater, man. Let me take y'all inside Atwater USP out in California. This about Atwater when I got there and I seen so many Mexicans with different gangs, Surenos, SQRs, uh, you know, it was everything out there, Border Brothers. So just sit back, enjoy the ride, man. All right. All right, unique Mecca audio, man. I'm here. I'm going to tell you about the Surenos out in California. Make sure you pay attention because all I give you is jewels here, and I'm going to enter you into the world that I put myself into. I go through Oklahoma, and when I go through Oklahoma, that's the holdover, Oklahoma Transit Center, they call it. I'm used to being on the East Coast. I'm from New York. So New York, all we had was Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and a couple of Cubans back in the 80s and 90s. They didn't have any Mexicans out there. So I'm not going to sit here fake it. Anybody tell you that they some trolls playing games. You know what I mean? And we don't do none of that over here. Now, anytime I was in the prison when I first got locked up when I was on the East Coast because they sent me to Lewisburg, it was majority blacks, and it was New York and D.C., and Jersey and Philly and, all of us up and down the East Coast. But they sent me out to Oklahoma to go to California because the plane don't fly straight from the East Coast to the West Coast. It stops off in Oklahoma for the transit center, which is a building in Oklahoma that they turned into a big prison. So the plane pull up on the side of the building and a tarmac come out the building and you go in the building. It's an office building that they converted into a prison, so you understand. Now, I know you never even phantom that. But now, once we go in there and we go through the intake and all that and they put us in the units, the next morning they open up for chow. Now, when they open up for chow, I notice it's only about 20 blacks in there and about 180, Mexicans. You know what I mean? And I don't know the difference between the gangs and none of that because even when I was on the street, they didn't have no Native Americans, on the streets of New York or up and down the East Coast. So, they called them Indians in the joint, but they're Native Americans to be politically correct. Now, these Native Americans on the East Coast, we had two. One of them, if y'all know where he at, I'm going to say his name because he was an interesting character. The first Indian that I met, or Native American as they call him, name was Cross Dog. Cross Dog was in the prison with us and on the East Coast, and he was from out like Arizona or something like that. So he didn't know nothing about how it worked out there. So we had little TV rooms, things like that in Allenwood, I'm riding. You know what I mean? We're going to get back to Atwater. So we up in the joint. I just want to tell you about Cross Dog. So we up in the joint, and Cross Dog get up early morning. He like to watch the news, and the black guys like to watch BT. So they get up, they put it on a BT in this one room and all that. So Cross Dog will come in there and he'll sit quiet with his headphones on because you had to listen to the TV with the headphones that was connected to a radio station on your radio. And he'll sit back and he'll watch the videos, but he really wants to watch the news. So he figured that he'll come out early. So he came out early, and when he came out early, he went right to changing the thing and he put it on the news. So the black dudes came out there and, they went and put it right on BT. He gets in his feelings, you know what I mean? Because he felt like he was there first. But he didn't understand that in prison they have what they call routines. So the routine was this was a BT TV and this was a black TV room. There was no other Indians there with him, so he didn't really know how it was moving. Because I got in a situation like that too when I got out to Victorville that I'm going to tell you about. Maybe tell you about it in this one. But anyway, he changed the channel. Black dude comes out and he puts it on BET. So Crosstalk goes back up and he puts the TV back on the news channel. So the black dude said, yo, what are you doing? This is a BET TV. This is a black TV room. And he said, nah, but I was here first. So the black dude just turned around and punched him in the face. Boop! You know what I mean? So when he punched him in the face, Crosstalk just started walking up on him, you know, like he wanted to fight, but he never put his hands up. He just walked straight up on him. As he's walking up on him, the black dude is hitting him in his face, boom, boom, boom. And he just kept coming. He just kept hitting him, boom, boom. And he never threw a punch. You know what I mean? I don't know what was in his mind. You know, hopefully I reach out to him or y'all know where he at. And he let me, you know, let us know what was on his mind. But this dude wailed all on his face and punished him. You know, none of this is said to disrespect him. This is just letting you know what it was. But I definitely would like to get in touch with him and find out what the heck was on his mind. He never threw a punch, but he wanted to fight. Dude beat him senseless. You know what I mean? So now, you know, police didn't lock nobody up because, you know what I mean, it was just a fist fight, and that's how it is in the penitentiary. They got those all day, so they're not going to fool a hole up every time somebody get punched in the face. So now, I'm back out in California. So now I'm in California, and Oklahoma, and when I get to Oklahoma, it's all Mexicans. You know what I mean? And it's like maybe 3 tables with black guys and maybe 1 table with 2 or 3 white guys in it, and the rest was all Mexicans. This was at the time when Joe Arpaio was locking up the Mexicans and the foreigners in Arizona, saying that they didn't, the police had the right to check anybody to see if there was a United States citizen. Now, you know, they're not checking the white people because they figure they're already citizens, so that was really just a war on the minorities. So picture the police pulling you over while you're driving and say, show me your citizenship papers, and you don't have nothing but a driver's license. He tell you, nah, I need to see your citizenship papers. Then they lock you up and they put you in a tent, then they give you a pink jumpsuit, you know? So you're out there in a tent in the middle of the Arizona desert in a pink jumpsuit, you know what I mean? Now, when they asked Joe Arpaio why he chose pink jumpsuits, he said because that was to humiliate them, to let them know that I'm in charge. So you got dudes laying out in the hot Arizona desert sun with no air conditioning, nothing, just tents burning up that they're picking up. These are citizens they're picking up. He even went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court told him he couldn't do it, and he still continued to do it. That's the one that when Donald Trump got in office, he pardoned him from his crime, so he didn't even have to do any time for doing this, and showed that he was down with the racist behavior of targeting minorities to show their citizenship, right? So now, you know, I leave Oklahoma and I get to Arizona. Now, when I get to Arizona, I see Mexicans. You understand what I'm saying? And no disrespect to them because I got a whole bunch of good homies. You know what I mean? That's Mexicans. But I just want y'all to know that's what we called them. But they had different gangs and things like that that they called themselves. Now, picture you enter the compound and for the first time you see men that look like this and they out there working out in unison. About 50 of them. They doing burpees. They doing push-ups, they doing pull-ups, and they doing them in unison. You know what I mean? Picture 50 dudes jumping up, going down, doing push-ups, standing back up, kicking their leg up, hitting their elbow to their knee, and you know what I mean? Looked like a military workout. But what they was doing was staying penitentiary ready. You know what I mean? For whatever happened. So imagine if you had to live with a bunch of men like this. And these men, no disrespect to them, but keeping it 100, was bloodthirsty. If you violate them in any shape, form, or fashion, they was tearing your head off. Their thing wasn't, you know, like I said on the East Coast, you know, that's why I brought that up. Everything is a method to my madness when I be riding, but I bring it back to the same program. Just like I told you how Cross Dog was fighting, you know, the dude, or was getting beat up by the dude, and it was a fist fight. They didn't lock them up. When you go out west and you meet these type of brothers, they're going for blood. You know what I mean? It ain't no more with the hands. We talking about a penitentiary-made knife going up in you. You know what I mean? Cold steel penetrating your warm body. You understand what I'm saying? For you violating, you know, in any shape or fashion that they feel that you violated. So you got these dudes there. So one day I'm sitting there, I'm in the front of the unit, they called to move, and here comes, you know, a Mexican brother. He was a Sureno. Here comes the Sureno. Let me clarify it now. Now the Sureno come walking up, and they gave us these little beige khaki suits, that button down in the front, and the pants had a belt on it, and they used to wear the one button in the top and the rest of the buttons open, so when they walk, the shirts flap to the side like wings. That's how Jamaicans do it too. And those khaki suits that they gave us in the prison, when I grew up in Jamaica, those was considered as a tuxedo. So if y'all know what I'm talking about with the khaki suit, them, you know what I mean? The khaki suit that we used to wear in Jamaica, I doubt them give us in the penitentiary for wear. So now dude come with his khaki suits, things flapping in the wind. Now, he sat there and the police asked him if they could get a shakedown. Now, they wanted to get a little shakedown, so dude, he put his hands up for the shakedown, and when they shook him down, they picked up his shirt, and they felt the wine on him, so they told him, come on, give me that. So he had about 8 bottles on him, so he pulled 2 out, because, everybody look in the tower, the people out there, the police doing his job. He handed the police 2, because normally the police would just take the 2 and let him go and ignore the 6, but this was a rookie. He didn't know no better. So the rookie reaches over, and the rookie patch the other 6 and tell him, nah, give me those 2. And he said, nah, it's my man's birthday. I'm getting ready to go in there to drink. I just gave you 2. I mean, be satisfied with that. He said, nah, it ain't nothing about being satisfied. Give me the other 6. You're not allowed to have it. So the police went to reach to grab one of the 6 bottles off his waist, and he took out one of those bottles and bust the police in the face and just started whooping them. As he's whooping the police, now the deuces go off. That's where the police hit the little the little walkie-talkie thing, the little orange button you see on the police walkie-talkie, and it made that noise, and police coming from everywhere. So as they come, and dude is over there, and he's having a straight-up brawl, you know what I mean, with this police, and he's whooping the police. So now a bunch of other police come down. As they come running down, because like I said, they're coming down a long walkway, so they might come 1 first and 2 first, and maybe 2 at a time. And as they come in, the shot caller is sitting on the sideline, and he's sitting there just like this, and he's pointing to one of those men you see behind me, and he's looking at him, making eye contact, and he goes, and he points to him, like, you get that cop. So the cop coming, that one start fighting that cop. Then he points at another one and said, all right, you get him. Now he fighting, the next thing you know, you got 5 Surenos fighting the police. And they're going. You know what I mean? And I'm not even going to front. The police was holding their own as well. You understand what I'm saying? But the Surenos was better fighters in better condition, So I seen the dude pick up a police over his head like he was a sack of potatoes and drop him down on his neck. And the crazy part is that's where I thought all of them was going to go in to punish the police. But instead, when he dropped them on his neck, he just went and got another cop and left him laying there on like a wet chicken just got hit by a Mack truck. You know what I mean? And started whooping another police. So now you got about 20 Surenos fighting the police. They going at it. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? And all this is over some wine. So the police tried to shoot out the tower, but we was in building 3 where if you buy 3A, the tower can't even see it. So the shot caller is doing like this. You know what I mean? He's doing like this. He's telling them to move it over towards 3A so they can't get a shot. So they, backing up towards, the blind spot, and they going at it, and they fighting, and they carrying on. And I'm sitting there watching this. I'm like, dang, because I haven't seen nobody attack the police like that on the East Coast, keeping it 100. But these Surenos was a whole nother breed, just like the Aryan Brotherhood. I'm going to tell you about Barry Mills and the Aryan Brotherhood maybe tomorrow. I got to get some pictures out and things like that. But they go over there and they can't get to them, but they fighting. So now more police coming down, and then the shot caller just did like this. And when he put his hands like this, everybody stopped fighting. You understand what I'm saying? And the police came down there and they stopped fighting because they didn't want to fight in the first place. But dude said boop, and the fight was done. So now the police come and they go against the wall. He handcuffs them and they put him in a little cage in between 3 unit and 2 unit, and they walks him to the shoe. So now when they walk him to the shoe, the lieutenant come down and the lieutenant asks, the shot caller, what happened? The shot caller never moved. He's sitting there, he said, yo, what happened? Boop, 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 boop. I thought y'all said you wasn't gonna put your hands on it, da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? So the leader of the Surenos, he explained to the police, to the lieutenant, he said, look, they stopped the man with a couple of bottles of wine. He gave them 2. They wanted all of them, you know what I mean? And, we not going for it. So the lieutenant said right there in front of everybody, he said, man, you're 100% right. He called the officer over and he said, why did you pursue it after he gave you 2? He said, Lieutenant, because he still had 6 more. And the lieutenant said, no, if he gave you 2, you couldn't see the other 6, you were supposed to let him go. Now you take your ass up to the lieutenant office, you suspended from off the compound before you get killed out here and get the rest of us killed. You understand what I'm saying? But now it was so organized and structured that what happened is the Surenos, when they locked them up in the shoe, they locked up the ones that was fighting. The rest they didn't lock up, and they opened the compound up. You understand what I'm saying? So the lieutenant told the shot caller, which blew my mind, he said, I apologize for my rookie's mistake. This the lieutenant talking to a convict. He said, I apologize for, my rookie's mistake. You know what I mean? Go get some more wine and finish, celebrating the party that you went to celebrate. I'll deal with him. You understand what I'm saying? So they sat there and they looked at each other and they both just nod heads, no handshaking, because we don't do none of that. No handshaking, they both nod heads, and they turned around and they left. They went and got some more wine. They came in my unit, and the jail went back to running as normal with them drinking wine, smoking weed, smoking tobacco, and doing what they got to do. You understand? Then while they down there good and drunk, the lieutenant comes back down there, and he asks the shot caller while they're drinking, celebrating one of their homies' birthday, is everything all right? You know what I mean? He said, yeah, everything is good. You know what I mean? And there's a bunch of dudes in my unit that don't even belong there that's in there drinking. And that's supposed to be out of bounds. But this the lieutenant, to keep the peace, told him, y'all go ahead, continue to drink, continue to do what you're doing. Just leave our police alone. That's the respect that the Surenos got in the prison. And then to make it even worse, the SIS, the Special Investigative Service for the Federal Bureau of Prison out in Atwater was majority gang affiliated with this gang. You know what I mean? The SIS, the people that could walk the police and the warden off the prison, is also affiliated with the Surenos, and they run the joint. And here I go, a lonely black man out there in California. I ain't in no gang, I ain't in no nothing, and I'm just watching all this. So I'm learning how this thing play out there. I couldn't believe this for the life of me. So now, if you youngins want to go to prison to enter into this world, feel free to do it. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. I'm just going to tell you why I wouldn't do it again, and hope that you're smart enough to know that you should not do it now. So that's why I said, don't break the law, don't hit the streets, none of that is worth it. Picture these men coming at you with knives, all tattooed up, big and swole, because they working out every day in unison in the yard, and they're coming at you with a knife, and you had nothing to do with the incident that they're coming at you for. They're only coming at you because of the color of your skin, and it's them against the blacks. They don't say, oh, that's, unique, he from New York, he from this, he from that. They don't separate it like that. I was blessed to have them separate me like that because I dealt with them on a one-on-one basis, and I knew their shot caller from ADX, Lil Champ, rest in peace. Let's give a round of applause to Champ. Let's give a round of applause to Champ. You know what I mean? Let's give a round of applause to Champ. All right, relax, y'all, relax. Now, I met Champ in ADX. Champ was a little short, older man. When I met him, he was in his 60s. This was in the 90s. You know what I mean? He was a short dude, bald head, had a little size on him, not too big. But he was, he walked with his shoulders. You know what I mean? He walked with his shoulders to let you know that he was a little gorilla. You know what I mean? And he was real respectful. When we had a chance to talk, he was the nicest man you'll ever want to meet. But he was one of the founders of the Black Hand. I mean, I love this brother to death, And when I wound up, I'm riding. When I wound up out in Victorville, because that was Atwater. About 10 years later, I winds up in Victorville. And when I get to Victorville, I had a single cell pass. And when I get there, they had no single cells open, but I had a pass. You understand? So everybody's coming around when you go to a jail on the West Coast and they find out where you from and you got to get with one of your homies, and every geographical location or gang has their designated cells that's only theirs. So there was an empty cell there that was a Sureno cell that was empty, and it was on the Sureno side, right in front of the Sureno TV. It was the penthouse of the penitentiary. So it was empty because the dudes went to the hole and they had nobody else to put in it. So the police ain't putting nobody else in it unless it's a Sureno. So when I get there and I'm talking to the people, I meet a Sureno and I'm talking to him. Good brother, man. Good. I'm even gonna say his name. If you know where he's at, you know what I mean? Everybody listening to this running to him. His name was Smiley. Smiley had the car out in Victorville. Smiley's a good brother, man. Good brother. So Smiley come over there and, you know, we all talking and I see him and I tell him, yeah, I was in ADX with Champ, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? I ran into some of your peoples over in Lum Park when I was there back in 2001, because this is 2018 now. So, you know, we just reminisce with each other as convicts of where we've been and who we know and all that. And he said, oh, you was with Champ? I said, yeah. So he said, man, all right. He said, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to let you get this Sureno cell because you got a single cell and a medical issue. I was dealing with my prostate at the time. He said, I'm going to let you get this Sureno cell, but, you know, as soon as they open up or as soon as, you know, there's a cell open, then you have to find one of your own cells, but you're an elderly man, you know what I mean? You was in ADX with Champ, you understand what I'm saying? And, you know, a few of my brothers, you know of you, so therefore, we're going to let you get our cell. None of the brothers there couldn't believe it. And yes, I'm putting this on YouTube because nobody can't dispute what I said other than the rat trolls, you know what I mean? And flip-flop wearing in public suckers, you know what I mean? Now, like I said, Smiley reached out to me. Smiley, you know, he ran the car. Good dude. So he's giving me the cell. So while I'm in the cell, I'm waiting to find a cell that I could buy. Because you got to buy a cell in the penitentiary. You know what I mean? They sell it for like $200, $300, $500, but you buy a cell. You know what I mean? That's like buying a condominium. See, y'all never heard that. If I say the Cash App is on the screen, make sure it says it was created in 2020 and my name is not spelled Hall with a 1 in it. So pay attention to it. Now, I'm giving you a bona fide game. You got to buy a cell. So I'm looking to buy a cell so I can get out this Sureno cell. Smiley getting ready to leave, you know, to go home. I think he was back on a violation or something, but he, you know, he ran the car, you know, good man. So I just went to Smiley and I said, look, you know, let me pay y'all for this cell. I like this cell, you know what I mean? And I like the brothers on this side, you know, talking about the Surenos. So now I'm living in the middle of all these Surenos on this side of the jail, right in front of their TV that they keep on the Telemundo and all that, the Spanish channel. But I sit right in my doorway and I watch the Telemundo all day to look at the pretty, you know, women from the Mexican channel and all that. So Smiley said, all right, you know what I mean? I'm going to give you a deal on the sale. So he gave me the sale. So now I'm in the cell. I'm the only black person over there mixed in with these, you know, Surenos. Now, of course, you had a few of the Surenos that was, you know, hard body on. They didn't want a Moreno on that side. You understand what I'm saying? But, you know, Smiley had the respect, the juice, and I got along with, you know, all the rest of them that spoke English enough to see my demeanor. And because some of them barely spoke English, but they understood enough for us to communicate, and they seen I wasn't a threat, and I'm just an old timer that's just trying to do my time and fight my case because I lived in the law library, and they came ask me legal questions. I helped them with their legal work and da-da-da. It got so good out there for me, you know, thanks to Smiley. Big round of applause to Smiley and Champ. All right, calm down. Relax, man. Now, check. It got so good for me out there that I went and I bought a remote control for the TV. Now, you're not allowed to touch a Sureno TV, a white TV, or any other race or any other gangbangers TV unless it's unless you're in that gang or such and such. So they in administration they had like 10, 12 TVs, and they had one for the Border Brothers, one for the Southsiders, one for the SUR. You know what I mean? They had one for the Bloods, one for the Crips, one for the Netchers, one. They had TV for everybody because that was the pacifier. So only person can touch those TVs is the dudes that's from that set. Never in my life. I did it once and I screwed up. That was in Atwater, you know what I mean? And I'll tell you about that later, you know, and touch the Mexican TV. Violation. You're supposed to get the knife put in you right off the rip. You understand what I'm saying? But I didn't know nothing about that. I wasn't hearing it. You know what I mean? But all right, I'm going to tell you about it. All right, let's ride back to Atwater. I'm out in Atwater, and my cell is on the side where, you know, they had a TV that they put on Jerry Springer every day and Jenny Jones and things like that, the Surenos and stuff. So we all, the blacks, we wasn't allowed down there in the pit. I'm on the second floor. We wasn't allowed down there in the pit to sit next to their TV. If we wanted to watch Jerry Springer, we had to stand far away from their tables, far away from their chairs, put on the headphones and watch the TV long distance. We wasn't allowed to go up close. But being that we was on the second floor, that's where the blacks was at because the Mexicans was on the first floor. So we sat along the rail, like how you see that rail behind me over here. We sat along that rail, and there was a TV straight back in the black where you see that yellow thing at. And my cell was all the way down in the back by there, so I could sit up in the rail, and I could watch Jerry Springer and things like that. So one morning I get up, and when I get up, the whole unit is empty. You know what I mean? Except one dude is in the TV room that they turned into a workout room, and he's working out, doing his workout, but I didn't really pay him any mind. But I look around, and I don't see anybody out there, and they had it on something else because everybody went to the yard that morning. So I go down there, and I change the channel to Jerry Springer that they normally put it to. This little Mexican brother, he comes out the room, and he says, yo, you're not allowed to touch our TV. So I'm telling them, like, nah, there was no one out here, and I know y'all watch this every morning, so I figured y'all just forgot to put it on it. He said, yeah, it don't matter what happened, you're not allowed to touch our TV because that's your BET TV. We don't touch your TV. You don't touch our TV. You know what I mean? So now I'm like, yo, hold up, man. I told you there was nobody out here. You know what I mean? So if there's nobody out here, what you want me to do? So dude, someone heard my voice getting loud, you know, with this dude, and came out the cell. And luckily it was one of the Surenos that run that TV that I knew from Lewisburg all the way in 1994. This about 2006. So he comes out and he takes his man in the room, you know what I mean? And he talked to his man in Spanish, and I'm standing out there. I'm heated now, you know what I mean? I'm thinking that we get ready to go to war over him disrespecting me, telling me I can't touch a government TV is where my mentality was at. Not that I'm out west, that these TVs is given to geographical locations and gangs, you know? So then my man calls me in the room, and he explained to his man, you know, in Spanish that, you know, I'm cooler, you know, I done, you know, was in ADX with him, I was there. And the dude that he was talking to, he called a murder in ADX my first day on the compound. And then we wound up, in Lewisburg, he called about murder the first day on the compound in Lewisburg. And then when I winds up going to, you know, ADX for allegedly stabbing 2 police, because that's where they send you if you catch a murder or any violence upon the police. I met up with him there, and me and him did the little 3-4 years together up there in ADX. So he's explaining to the dude that I was there with him, Champ, and I was in Lewisburg, and you know what I mean, I'm good people, whoop, whoop, whoop. And this dude was just a racist little piece of crap that he was talking to. But basically, dude wasn't going for it. Let's just do that. The little racist dude wasn't going for it. He's like, nah, I still don't want the Moreno touching my TV because we don't touch their TV. That was the end of the line. So my man told me straight up, he said, Unique, look, I stay in the unit all day because I'm in charge of the unit. If there's anything you want to watch on our TV, please don't touch the TV. Come get me. Even if I'm asleep, tap on the door, wake me up, and I'll come down and change it. But please don't touch our TV because out here, you know what I mean, we kill for that. But you family, because we've been together for over a decade. You know what I mean? So that was the understanding that we had. You know what I mean? So let's ride back to Victorville. So now I'm in Victorville, and I get a remote control because I know I'm not allowed to physically touch it after that altercation because I damn near got killed with all them damn Mexicans out there, and I'm rolling by myself because I ain't in no gang. But bottom line is, you got to die for what you believe in, and bottom line is, you know, it is what it is. That's why I don't mess with TVs. I stopped watching movies and all that in there. All I used to watch was Love and Hip Hop to see how the black girls would disrespect the black man out here to see what the world was turning to. And I couldn't believe what I saw in Love and Hip Hop. right? And then I come home and the shit is really happening. I thought it was all fake. But anyway, so now we over there and I get a remote control. So I talk to, Smiley and, I let him know, like, look, I got a remote control. I ain't going to touch the TV because they had their own remote control. I said, I noticed that by about 12 o'clock, y'all go to sleep. You know what I mean? The TV don't change no more. He said, nah, we go by about 11. You know what I mean? We said, we watch a program at 10, and then after that, nobody watches it. I said, okay, well, do you mind if I use my remote control after 11 o'clock to change the channel? You know what I mean? And, he talked to his people, and they agreed to, when they was done watching it, they put it on like CNN News. So when I saw it on CNN News, now I know everybody's asleep, and then I get to turn the channel. Matter of fact, Smiley was gone at this time when we made this arrangement. I made this arrangement with another one of the Surenos I was cool with. So he said when I go to sleep, he said he had the remote. He said when I go to sleep, I'm gonna just put it on CNN, and then you could ride out. You know what I mean? So now, I get up and I put it on IDTV, I put it on, BT and all this stuff. So, of course, a few days later, they start talking amongst each other, like, which one of y'all is watching this BT crap at night? Say, I got up to go to the bathroom and I saw the TV was on BT. You know what I mean? So they told them that they allowed me to change the TV when they go to sleep. You know what I mean? And, that was just between us because I'm over there and I'm one of the family members. You know what I mean? Because I'm from Jamaica, so, we all foreigners. You know what I mean? So that's how I got away with that. You know what I mean? But then Smiley winds up coming back to the jail. And the funny part is to show you how you got to always keep it real. When Smiley was getting ready to leave, when he sold me the cell, I was supposed to send some money to his people, but he left. So after he left, I could have just not sent it because he was gone. I was already in the cell. But no, me being a man of honor, I went ahead and I sent the money to his people. You know what I mean? I sent the money to his people while he was gone, and then he came back for another petty violation. And when he came back, you know what I mean? Everything was taken care of. So he see me now, and there was dudes that still wasn't feeling me living amongst these men behind me, in the middle of all of them. So they went to him and said, man, who did he pay for the cell? Did he ever say the money? And said, so Smiley told him, nah, he was a man of his word. He sent me his money even after I left. And they all know I got along with everybody. If they needed something, I gave it to them, and they needed something. And it was a nice little family unit, because the whole thing is, it's not so much that they're racist. It's just that they've seen, no disrespect to us, they've seen blacks do some cruddy, grimy, stuff that, they didn't even want to deal with us. Because they had a thing where they couldn't even buy drugs from us, couldn't smoke with us, couldn't do nothing with us, none of that. You understand what I'm saying? But that's how it is. So, I've been on here long enough. I just wanted to share that one with you, man. Big shout out to the Surenos, the Border Brothers, and, it is what it is, man. I love you, and thank y'all for tapping in, and know that it's all real over here, Unique Mecca Audio, and make sure, you cop the book of Roaring Harlem at roaringharlem.com. roaringharlem.com. The Cash App work. The game is to be sold, not told. I don't know what you get at another channel, but you get nothing but jewels here and jewels cost. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, let's go.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
What?
Fresh out the can of 26,
yeah.
He back on the strip, getting back in the mix.
Yeah.
What he mentions a gift.
Right.
You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this.
Real.
Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit.
Yeah.
Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn.
Real.
Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops. Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spin a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the root men.